well, we've stumbled across now what I think was the most anticipated Netflix new release in the movie world this year in Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. And Guillermo del Toro at this point has proven himself to be a legend in this craft. It's almost like he has nothing left to prove. But here he is coming along with a remake of a character that is almost synonymous with the horror genre. The story, as if you don't know the Frankenstein story by this point, it's based off the classic Mary Shelley novel that a lot of us probably read when we were in high school English class. It follows the life of Victor Frankenstein, played this time by the great Oscar Isaac. He's an egotistical scientist whose experiment in creating a new life form, played here by Jacob Elordi, results in dangerous consequences. Now, I honestly did not know what else they could do with a Frankenstein story, especially in the year 2025. That original Universal film from almost 100 years ago lives rent-free in a lot of people's heads. And it's perfect what they did back in the day. It's simple, hour and 10 minutes almost, Boris Karloff being revealed as the monster, and nobody knew it was going to be Boris Karloff until they saw him in the theaters. Like, you can't really replicate that feeling. And I don't necessarily think Guillermo del Toro was trying to top what the 1931 film did so well. What he does manage to do, on the other hand, is make it his own. And he does it only in the way he can. This is a beautifully directed movie. It is so well shot. It is gorgeous. Some of the shot composition here is just filmmaking perfection. It is a cinematographer's dream come true. And Del Toro brought in frequent collaborator Dan Laustsen to be his DP on this. This is the same guy who was his DP on Crimson Peak, The Shape of Water, which actually won Del Toro Best Picture back in 2017. He also DP'd Nightmare Alley, which is a movie that a lot of people I feel like have forgotten about by this point. One of his more underrated films, really. This one just captures the tone and the time period and the gothic, creepy atmosphere so well. The castle that we stumble across, the set design. Oh my god, I mean, there is CGI in this movie, definitely. You can tell when certain things are CGI, like when a character stumbles across a deer. But holy bananas, just how majestic this movie actually looks. The only thing I wish is that even though my television literally right across the room here, it was perfect viewing for this, I really wish I could have seen this on the big screen, because I feel like that would have only enhanced the experience even more. But then again, I also wouldn't have had the luxury of pausing the movie either. And I'll touch on that point in a second. But how are the performances? Honestly, across the board, all Oscar-worthy. Oscar Isaac as Victor Frankenstein is so damn great. I just love how he exudes confidence and how he's almost pitching these ideas like he's some sort of used car salesman. I never really envisioned Victor Frankenstein to be some sort of good-looking con man in a sense. Whenever I think of Victor Frankenstein, I think of a more reclusive, nerdy type, you know? This Victor Frankenstein, like, I'd be tempted to buy some of his bullshit. And Oscar Isaac is such a wonderful storyteller as well. Speaking of wonderful storytellers and how you can get across almost everything with base level stuff, Jacob Elordi as the creature. Wow. The makeup design on him, especially when you first meet the creature, when he first comes to life. This is an astounding performance that has been universally lauded. Everybody's been loving this guy, myself included. He is also Oscar-worthy, definitely. Mia Goth in this movie, after appearing in the Pearl trilogy not too long ago, this is her big follow-up. I thought she was really great in this. Christoph Waltz, I just talked about him in my Only Murders in the Building 5 review. Absolute legend. And Christoph Waltz is not in this movie for very long. But again, there's just something so captivating every time you look into his face and look at his performance. You never feel like this guy's an actor. You feel like he is stepping into the shoes of the person he's playing. That is the highest praise that I can give any actor, I think. And I mean, I just love what they did with this story as well and the layout of it. This is broken up into two parts here. First half is Victor Frankenstein's point of view. The second half is the creature's point of view. And it's told almost like in a Forrest Gump style of narration. And I thought that was a really interesting call for Guillermo del Toro to tell this story like this. You don't want to make it too much like the original Frankenstein that is just like, oh, this is just a rehash. He found a way to make it his own, And that's what makes Guillermo del Toro so freaking great. And I mean, I knew this movie was going to be something special ever since it was announced, especially since he just did that Pinocchio animated film. And we all know the Pinocchio story. That Pinocchio is everything I would want a Pinocchio movie to be. Dark, twisted, almost sadist in a sense. It's like the stuff in that film was just nuts. And you definitely get a lot of that in the new Frankenstein as well. But yet you still have that like whimsical feeling of it, like this is so unrealistic. Alexander Desplat composed the score for it, and he is known for composing a lot of very magical music. I mean, this is just damn good stuff. I think the people on board with Netflix should be really proud of this release. I think Guillermo del Toro should be very, very proud of this, considering the daunting task to put on a Frankenstein movie almost 100 years after Universal put that original out. Because you think of horror, you think of scary monsters, the first one that pops to mind usually is Boris Karloff as the creature. That's usually the first likeness you think of. Jacob Elordi just might be the new synonymous creature that the next generation thinks of when they think of a scary looking monster. Like, this movie is that good. I mean, this is one of my favorite movies of the year, I think. My only drawback with it, and this is just something that I can't shake, honestly, this movie is just kissing 2.5 hours long. And I think that might be just a bit too long for this story. Because even though it was constantly compelling and I was glued to the screen, there were points where I definitely felt the pacing drag a little bit. And I think if you watch this in the theater, you might feel the pacing even more. Because you watch it at home on Netflix, like a good chunk of the population is probably going to, you have that luxury of pausing the movie when you need to go to the bathroom. But if you want to sit through the whole movie and not miss anything, and you really got to take a restroom break, you really got to pick your spots if you watch it on the big screen. But that is literally just touching and grasping for something to nitpick, because I am a critic after all. I do look at things in an objective manner. I love this version of Frankenstein. I think it's one of the better remakes we've gotten in recent years. Guillermo del Toro has done it again. I can see this getting hugely, hugely recognized by the Academy once the Oscars do come into the picture. Oscar Isaac, I think, should definitely get a nomination. Jacob Elordi most certainly will. Guillermo del Toro could get nominated for Best Director again. I could see this even getting a Best Picture nod. It was that good, guys. And if you have Netflix, I'm sure most of you do. If you're a subscriber, it's out now. You won't regret checking it out. I'm going to give Frankenstein 2025 an A. Just a wonderful, wonderful film in every sense of the word. But let me know what you thought. Do you guys like this version of Frankenstein? Did you read Mary Shelley's book growing up? Let me know all those thoughts down there in the comments. Let me know who you define as the quintessential scary monster in all of cinema. I love getting in front of this camera and talking all things in the movie world with you guys. Hit that subscribe button if you're new, and tap that thumbs up as well, if you please. Thank you so much again for your continued support, my friends. Y'all are the best. With all that being said, Back Talk, commence.